One thing I knew once we cut the hatch open, when I had filleted it in the galley flat, all along here and up along the edge here, the filleting was a little thin. So what happened is it bled through. Let me show you here. This was assembled upside down, and so all the filleting oozed down through. Well, one thing I'm sure of was a good amount of epoxy at the seam, but what I really need to do is grind this away. So I'm going to use my 4-inch grinder very carefully. I'm fairly good with it. If I screw up, I screw up. And I'm going to grind away the majority of this thick filleting that's in here, and then sand the rest of it away, probably with a block, because I don't want to sand through the ply. And then this gets refilleted from the back side here, or the top side, and then along the back there, a little thick there, drip through there, not a big deal. Sand that off. Same thing over here. In the middle is not too bad. And before I put in the galley rail, I have to sand and fill it up into the top crack up there. And there's areas on the hatch that need to be filled. Do that too, fill it in. So yeah, that's where we're at. I have about an hour left to light, so I'm gonna take advantage of it. Make sure you wear a N95 mask. Good use for those old COVID masks you got laying around. Don't work that great, in my opinion, for COVID, but they work great for dust. You can see the grinder makes quick work of that thick epoxy. You just have to be really careful. In fact, I think I'm going to grab a piece of sheet metal here to set on the base here. That'll, in case I accidentally drop it, that'll protect the metal, or the metal will protect the wood. Okay, I'm going to try this scraper. I bought a set of scrapers off of Amazon, pretty cheap, 16, 17 bucks, something like that. These drips are supposed to work really good. I've used scrapers before, never for drips, but we'll see how they go. Look at that. It's working pretty good. One edge has a burr raised on the side, and use that burr to scrape the thing you want to scrape. The kit came with a bunch of different shapes. This one's a semi-rounded one, so it seems to be put all the pressure on this to drip. Okay, I'm using this round scraper or oval scraper to go over that part that I ground. It seems to be working pretty good. That's coming out really good. These scrapers were well worth the 16, 17 bucks, whatever they were. Sanding the gaps or the edges of the hatch opening, and I'm using this this sanding block with some 120 grit sandpaper, and it's mainly used for auto body work. But basically, I started with the cutout lines where you can really see the depth of the notches that are in there from the CNC machine, and I sand along this edge. It took about 15 minutes of sanding. And to check the gap to make sure it's still staying straight, because it should be straight. It should be straight from the center line to the end here. I have a straight piece of sheet metal, flexible, follows curves if I need to. And you can see it's pretty tight, the gap. It's pretty tight. So if you're sanding it just in the straight all the way across it, the center gets worn more. So you have to occasionally come over here to the ends and give them a little bit of an additional sanding. And you just keep checking it with a straight edge, and eventually you'll get it down. So I've got these pretty much sanded through all the notches. And you can barely see, I don't know if it's picking up, but barely see a little stain there. So it's right at the edge of that one, and there's little stains here, but that's just where the epoxy soaked into the end grain of the wood. So this side is true too. I'm just about to go over to the starboard side of the hull here, and you can see the gap is pretty tight, nice and straight. If I come over to here, it's more of what the rough cut was. It's not too bad because I've already sanded on it the other day, but you can see there's some, you can see the light where the stitch marks were. This side I've already sanded. It's pretty good. It could go a little more though, because you can still see the notches in here. So I'm going to keep sanding this and just keep making sure it stays straight all the way along. So that's the update for now. Okay, I've got the back of the galley area prepped. I got the edges all sanded flush, nicely sanded. I'm not going to actually do anything with those, but what I am going to do is this bottom lip all the way around, it needs filleting, so I'm going to do that. And if I have a little bit of extra, I'll put in the gutter rail that goes in this groove right here. So next time you see me, that's what I'll be doing. Okay, I mixed up about 12 pumps worth of epoxy. And this little cup, I'm going to prime the areas I'm going to epoxy with just unthickened. It'll soak into the wood a little easier than if I have it filled in with peanut butter mix, which I'm going to make out of the rest of this. Okay, I'll mix this into putty. The excess I'm putting in the crack here because I'm going to be putting those pieces in next. But I got to mix some more epoxy. Okay, got the next batch mixed up. Fill in the fillets on the sides. And if there's left over, I'll make that one in the back a little thicker. Okay, now I can get some weights. Set this aside. Okay, now you got to clamp these, so I'm going to take these weights. I think these ones with these little flexible jaws don't tend to want to torque it one way or the other, as long as you keep the pad central. Okay, one last thing to do is pull that blue tape. The blue tape's up there to keep it from going into the groove, which is where the gutter rail is going to go in. It's going to make a nice edge up there. Beautiful. And that's it.